What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. This is part 8 of Billy's Badass Boat Build. Man, this series is getting long and we still got a long ways to go. And these videos are not short either. Like the last 3 videos I dropped are 35, 40 minutes. So I'm giving you guys a ton of information. I'm pumping y'all full of knowledge and all kinds of experience that I put into these boat builds. This thing's gonna be sick, man. The rig is looking dope. It's about to get painted. I got a couple little things I gotta wrap up, and then Billy's ready to come pick this thing up. He told me give him a shout a week before I'm ready for him to paint it. I literally hit him up yesterday. He called me today. He's like, I want to come pick the boat up. I'm ready. I was like, bro, you told me to hit you up a week before it's done. So now I'm kind of under the gun trying to get all this stuff done. So anyways, let's get into the build. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of this metal work. Get this thing done so we can get painted. I'm going to go ahead and pick up right where I left off in the last episode. I'm going to pull these wires in here for the trolling motor up the side. I'm going to finish the rest of the paneling. It's going inside of the rod locker. Then I'm going to finish turving that. I did rebuild the pan for the electrical switch. It's going inside of the hatch. You can see the hatch sitting right over here. Now, one thing I realized after I built that pan today, that hatch was a hatch that I already had made, and it doesn't have the right handle in it. That big ass circle hole in it is made for one of the big twist locks, and I don't know if I'm gonna have enough room to put that thing in there. Like in the King Neptune build, it has a tiny little lock with a twist lock on it. That thing has a huge lock in it. It's pretty deep and recessed in there, so I'm gonna have to play around with that and see if I can make that work. If not, then I'm gonna have to do something different. I might have to weld a little patch in there. So I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyways, I'm gonna finish up that electrical pan, get that thing finished up so it's ready to get painted. And then I've got a couple of pieces to add up on the back side over here, right up against the transom and the corner panel. I gotta frame that in with a couple pieces of angle on both sides. And then I've got to finish up a little bit of the pieces that are gonna go on these sides right here. Now these pieces on the face right here and right here, that's already finished off, but that piece in the face, that's going to get turfed. So I got to hit it, install that permanently, and I need to finish off inside of this front storage compartment because I got to build like a pan in there. It's going to hold all of his tackle trays and stuff. I need to get that in there because he paints this thing. Literally, we're just going to tape off the top of the live well. We're going to tape off the rod locker, and he's just going to go to town. He's going to spray the whole thing. He's going to do around the edges, so that way there's any gaps or little seams so you can see through the turf on the sides. It'll all blend, it'll all match. It's gonna be sick. I mean, the dude's a killer painter. He's phenomenal. I know you guys saw the hatches and all the stuff that's in here. I really wanted to paint this boat that purple sparkly color because I think it's sick, but it's gonna be neon green. And the wrap job is gonna be sick too. I gotta get up with the wrap people. Got to get them over here next week. They're gonna measure the boat. I'm gonna share that wrap process and what's going on with the whole image and the whole theme build with you guys in the next video. But I got to get this metal work done so I can get this boat over to Billy. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys back on the time lapse. Let's get back to work. All right, so I got these other pans installed inside of the rod locker. This thing looks sweet, nice and big. Before I turf all this, I'm gonna go ahead and let him paint it because now that I got that one main piece done up inside of there, that's gonna be the hard one to get to. The rest of this deck on the top is gonna stay open until after he finishes painting it. I did pull his cable for his trolling motor wires up into here, and it comes back into here. You can see him sitting in here. So what I'm gonna do now, I need to install this piece. This piece is just sitting in here. I'm gonna install that, suck this all in nice and tight and neat. That will finish off all of the metal work in the rod locker. Then I'm gonna change gears back here. I never finished this, but I need to figure out how I'm gonna do this. And same thing on the other side. I'm basically gonna take some 1.5 by 1/8 aluminum angle I'm gonna have a piece that comes here and here. I'll weld them in, and I might even have one across the center. I don't know yet. Then the last piece of metal work on this back deck is gonna be an angle coming off of here, back to the transom on either side. Then I've got a little bit more metal work I've got to figure out for the switch panel side over here. I'm gonna have to have a small piece here and here, and then the whole hatch, I'm gonna leave it where it can be removable. That way Billy can take it and paint that. And then once he's done with that, I'll install that permanently before I start doing the turf work. And this piece right here is gonna go right across the face of this live well. I'm gonna get that installed too. All right, let's go ahead and get this stuff rolling. We gotta get this thing done, ready for paint. Let's get back to work. All right, so you can see I went ahead, I welded these pieces in here solid. I forgot I had to throw this piece in here. I put one on the other side also, and the reason for that is because the hatch that I had, it actually sits here and it sits here. So it doesn't have anything to attach to, but now it does. So these will be supported. I also welded this thing a little bit down there on the verticals of it, and I did the same thing on the other side. I still got to make these angle frames here and here. I'm going to do that in just a second, but this thing turned out really good. I went ahead and welded that angle solid. I need to get some more support on this piece right here because this piece is kind of flexible. I'm probably going to run a small piece of tubing from here down on either side where the hatch goes in. That way it has something to attach the hatch into on either side. But I'm also going to put a cup holder in here. Why not? We got room for it, and I think cup holders are cool. So I'm hoping that I got enough room to put it right in this area right here. I'm gonna have to do some measuring and figuring, but I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to drop at least one cup holder here and maybe one up in the front. We can't do it over here, obviously, because we have this big rod locker over here, and there's really no other room besides maybe in this little corner right here. Maybe we'll try to throw one in here too. That way, if he has a backseat partner or something, he'll have at least a spot to keep his drink, so it's not just falling and spilling in the boat. I am going to put another cup holder up front just because, I mean, he's got room for it. I'm probably going to drop that up in the top of this rail right here. I think that'd be a perfect place for it on the bow because that's where I put it in King Neptune. And I tell you what, Matt Streichel uses that cup holder more than anything in the world. I mean, there's always a drink in there, a water bottle or some type of a soda or energy drink, something. So that front rail is perfect for it. It also allows me to pull that cup holder out and reach inside of there and help fish wires through here and get them up to this foot pedal track. I'm gonna go ahead and put y'all back in the time lapse. I'm gonna try to figure out what I'm gonna do with this piece because I'd like to put some type of support in the back side of it. These ribs right here, they're only about an inch below the top of this. So what I'm thinking is I might try to have something on this rib. You can see where it's at. I might try to bring something up off the top of this rib and turn it back like a little angle. I can either weld or rivet to this rib and then drop a rivet down through here into it. And that would just make the top of this thing a lot sturdier. I mean, with the bend in the face, it's pretty strong, especially once I get the pieces on either side of that down to the floor pan. But I'd like to have something over here. It's just going to be a little bit spongy, and he's probably going to be walking over here. I mean, this area right here is going to have like a swing arm for his fish finder and hopefully the cup holder right here. Let's get back to work. All right, guys, so I'm getting ready to cut the hole into this top piece for this cup holder. And these cup holders are very simple. They sell a dozen different types of these. If I had my choice, I would get the ones that have the chrome lip around the top, but the black ones are pretty sleek too. Sometimes I just want to go with the black ones, but I literally have like 100 of these because I clicked on eBay and bought these, and I meant to hit 10. I actually hit an extra 0, and I bought 100 of them. So I got a box of 100 of these shipped in the mail to me, and the truth is I only paid like $1.20 a piece for them. They do sell the ones that have the drains right in the center of them on the back, and I thought that's what I was getting, but I didn't, and these are still sick because all you got to do is just drill a small hole in the center of this, and that will allow any of the water that builds up in here from rain or condensation just drip through to the bottom of the boat. Now, this is a 3 3/4 inch cutout for this to drop into. So this is what I got to cut that hole with, the 3 3/4 inch hole saw. This hole saw was like, this is a Linux. I think it was like 35 bucks maybe. I did have one of these, and when I went to Texas and built a boat with Rob Turkla, I left this in his drill chalked up and I never got it back. So I had to buy another one. But this is brand new, so it should cut through here pretty easily. And I'm gonna cut this with a drill. This drill right here, this is a rigid, this is a compact, this is the smallest drill you can buy. This thing is super small. The head on this thing to the back, it's 6 1/4 inches. That's it. So that's a lot of space you can save based off a regular drill. This drill was almost, I think, 300 bucks. It came with a charger and 2 batteries. Now, during Black Friday, between my dad and I, we probably picked up at least 8 of these combos, but this is the one I got right here. This thing is sick too. These combos were only $79 during Black Friday. I know I'm a little late, but next year, keep in mind, because 79 bucks. This thing comes with a drill and an impact, a charger, and I think 2 batteries. We're about to find out. I haven't even opened this thing yet, but like I said, we literally have 8 of these at least, if not more than that. I mean, we've run through some drills at the shop, so definitely comes in handy. But the only reason I'm opening this up and using this is because this drill is very important to me. I can get into tight areas with it, and it's very hard on a drill to run a gigantic hole saw like this because it will tear it up. That drill will end up start smoking and burn up very quickly. And I'm not gonna burn up my $300 drill putting this stupid cup holder hole in here. Got a bag here. Sweet, this thing has a lot of stuff in it. It's all compact too. We got our impact, which I probably will never use. If you guys need an impact and a rigid, hit me up because I'm probably gonna have 8 of these that are just gonna sit there. I've probably already got 2 or 3 of them that I'm not using. All right, so this drill, it's pretty small. Not quite as small as a subcompact though. You can tell there's a humongous difference. And when you're in tight areas, I mean, that extra 1.5 inches, it's something that you just cannot live without. So this drill is very important, and I'm gonna keep that one in good working condition. Now this one, over the top, it measures at 7 3/8. So that gives us like an 1.125 inches difference. And sometimes an 1.125 inches is the difference between you being able to install something or you not being able to install it. But this is pretty sick. I mean, this is still a nice drill. And look at that, it comes with a charger. This is perfect. This is the exact same batteries that my other drill has, and I already have one sitting up there with batteries in it, and it has 2 batteries. So just alone, if you were to buy these 2 batteries and a charger online, it's like 75 bucks. This kit came with 2 batteries, a charger, and 2 drills for $80. So keep that in mind. Next Black Friday, you might want to pick up on some drills. So I'm going to use this one to install this hole saw cutout for the cup holder. Cup holder's going to drop right in there. It actually fits perfectly. I tried it up underneath the bottom, and there's plenty of room as long as I sink it right in this certain area. I'm gonna mark this off. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm probably not gonna cut the one up front yet. I'm gonna wait until I get the grab bridge and stuff installed. I'll cut that out last. That way I can get the placement perfect for that one. Let's get back to work. All right, so the cup holder drops in here perfectly. This is spot on exactly what I want. And I'm gonna have his graph bridge arm right here on the swing arm. It's gonna mount right in front of that. Then we're gonna install this hatch. It's gonna have his electrical panel and a little cuddy up here. I'm gonna come back to that in just a second. Right now I'm gonna change gears. I'm gonna get on to the back of this boat. I need to finish up these side pieces. I'll try to put at least one cup holder in the back deck, either port or starboard, because I think it will be important. I think that his backseat boater would definitely appreciate it. In the long run, it'll work out better for Billy because he won't have people spilling drinks all over his boat. Let's get back to work. All right, so I went ahead and I installed the framing on either side of this rear deck hatch. It's going to go in the transom area. Now, this is very simple. I already had this angle in here. What I did was I measured from that angle back, and I had about 6.5 inches here. Then I had about 9 inches from longest point to longest point. So I took an angle that was cut at a 90-degree angle, and it obviously fit up here perfectly. Right here, this angle would have overlapped. Same thing with this one. It would have overlapped here. And then in this corner, I just dropped it on top of this. So this piece came here and it came back over here. And all I did was just draw a line here from the top of it. And then I drew a line in the center of both of these pieces where they met. And I took them both out and cut them back from there back to the longest point. And that allowed me to just put these in here and they fit perfectly. Now, this thing looks sick. It's going to be exactly what he needs. And on top of that, there's plenty of room in here to drop this cup holder in here. So I'm going to put a cup holder on this side. And I'm probably going to go ahead and just throw another cup holder on this side over here. I have a mirror image on either side, and the cup holder can drop right in here too. And it's going to be sick because Billy has a wife and 2 kids, and I guarantee you they're going to have cups and, you know, want a spot for their drinks, and it just works out perfectly. This is not going to be in the way at all if you're back here fishing. This is in the corner, tucked up tight against these back rails, so it's going to be perfect. I did go ahead and cut some angles to fit back in this back transom area. I welded them from the top here and here. And I came back and shot some rivets up underneath here. Same thing on the opposite side. And this whole transom area back here looks sick. It looks aggressive. This little 45-degree cut is really going to set this thing off. It's going to make it look dope. Now all I have to do is drop the hatch in here and install either side panel and a couple little pieces of aluminum on top here and here. That's just going to finish this whole deck off. It's going to look sick. All right, so I made this mount right here for the trolling motor. This thing is 0.125 aluminum tread plate. I made it out of tread plate because I had a piece of tread plate, and I think it looks sick. It's going to add a little bit of flair to the front of the boat where the trolling motor is going. Now, I made this thing long for a reason. It's not going to be this long. I'm going to come back. I'm going to cut it back here and back out. That way I can drop this thing up in the front. Instead of buttoning right here, I'll be able to slide it all the way up. It'll sit up here. This will be gone. And then I'll be able to weld it solid across the front of the bow and then back down this side and back across. When this is sitting down on the front of the deck, I'm going to drill holes through this piece, through the deck, and I'm going to put some stainless steel bolts in here. I'm going to put some big washers up underneath the back and make sure this thing is sucked down tight because it's going to see a lot of abuse. This is a heavy-duty trolling motor. It's heavy as crap to begin with, and it's 24 volts. When this thing is kicking left and right on high speed, it's going to be putting a lot of abuse on the front of this boat right on these welds. So I'm going to make sure this thing is welded solid. especially when he fishes those electric only tournaments, because this thing is going to be on high speed for a very long time, running to different spots all day long. So this thing has got to be perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing cut and put y'all back in the time lapse. Let's get this thing installed. Let's get back to work. All right, so I got this trolling motor bracket right here installed. This thing is solid as crap. I mean, it's welded all the way around these three sides right here. And I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna drill some holes through here. I'm gonna put the washers up underneath there and sink that in tight. I'm gonna do that later because Billy is coming to pick this boat up in like 2 days. And I've still got a lot to finish up before then. When we cut this original trolling motor bracket that was mounted up here on the side off, it was not finished off in here. I guess the guys at Backwoods Landing or Well Built, wherever, they decided they did not need to finish this off. If you look at the opposite side, you see here that this one is welded solid. This one was up underneath the trolling motor tray, so they've got all kinds of ugly caterpillar welds. I mean, they look like crap. I'm gonna have to clean this up. This is going to be seen now. It's going to be out in the open. It's not underneath of a trolling motor bracket like they thought it was going to be. So this one right here, I definitely am going to come back and weld this solid. I'm going to try to grind some of this down and just smooth this out. But I'm going to weld this one up solid, and then I'm going to get on to the back electrical panel hatch. I got to get this thing done. Billy's coming to get it. I'm trying to finish this up tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to come back. I'm going to sand all these little pieces off here where I cut this off and try to sand up all the rest of the stuff on the boat that I have not already finished up. Let's get back to work. Just saw I welded the little tabs on the back of the hatch that's going to house the electrical pan. This thing is simple and it's very effective. Let me show you what we got. This hatch right here is going to house the electrical panel right here. All of the switches and everything, the fuse block is hopefully all going to mount right here. I got to make sure I got enough room for it. And then in front of that, this is basically just going to be a storage compartment. I'm going to run a piece maybe about 2.5 inches tall across here. And that's basically just going to be like a wall to give him a pocket. So he can put his phone in here and put his charger on this side, put GoPros in here, whatever he wants to put in here. But on this side, the switches are going to go across the top. And he's going to have 4 screws in here. They're going to be simple Phillips head screws. But more than likely, everything you need is already going to be accessible inside of this pan. But if you do need to remove it, you just take those 4 screws out, and pull this whole pan out, and do whatever you want to do with it. So I'm going to cut a hole in here, like a rectangular hole. That's going to house a 6-gang switch panel. And that's going to drop in, recess through here, and sit flush in here. Then on the bottom of this, I'm going to try to fit his fuse block right here. That way I can run all these wires in here. And then when it's installed, if you want to work on this and change something up, or if you need to modify something or add something into the boat, all you gotta do is take those screws out, pull this pan out, set it face down on the boat, and you have access up inside of this hatch to any of these wires. You're also gonna have access inside of this cup holder. You can reach up inside of here. You can reach right inside of here. It's gonna be very easy to run wires through here, because you can also come through here, and you got your hole up in the side, fish these wires through the cup holder, right up into the fuse panel, right up into the switch panel, whatever you need. This is a way I do all of my boats. A lot of them I'll put up on the deck. but he's gonna have a recessed pan right here, which is going to house a day box, a storage box. And then underneath of that's where all the pumps are gonna go. So when he needs to get to the pumps, same type of deal, this electrical panel, he can just get right in here, take that pan out, get down underneath that where the pumps and stuff are gonna be at if you ever gotta change them out. I already know what I have to do with this. I'm going to keep this, I'm gonna do this later because Billy's gonna paint this whole hatch. This piece, I'm probably just gonna spray. I'll probably just spray it some black, or I might even try to put some turf on it or something if we got enough. But this is a small piece and I can do this later. I wanna get this hatch finished up so he can paint this whole hatch. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld this piece across here. Then I'm gonna figure out the exact location of where I'm gonna put this. I'm going to install this top piece. This thing's just loose in here now, it's just sitting in here. I gotta get this thing finished off and permanent. I'm gonna weld this solid front and back once I get it set exactly where it needs to be. Then I'm gonna come back with another piece of like 1x3 tubing. I'm gonna run it right here vertically from this pan in the floor. It's gonna attach to that, and it's gonna attach to this side panel wall. And what that's gonna do is gonna allow me to shoot some rivets through this vertical side of this hatch, and it will stick over so I can install some sheeting on either side to make sure that when this thing is closed up, all of this is flush line all the way down the entire side of this side rib. I'm ready to get this thing done, man. Billy's coming over here to pick this thing up tomorrow. Let's get back to work. All right, so I ran out of gas in my welder last night. So I brought home another tank. Sitting right here. I'm getting ready to hook that back up onto the welder. I've got a little bit of welding left to do on the boat, and then I have a lot of grinding to do. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff in the boat, and my garage is a wreck. Billy's on the way to pick this thing up about an hour and a half. So we're running out of time. I'm gonna get all this stuff done as quickly as possible. It's a wreck in here. I mean, tonight is trash day. I am excited that this boat is gonna be leaving here so I can try to clean this garage up and get everything out of here. So when this boat comes back, I'll be able to work in here and have room to walk around. So we'll put you guys back on the time lapse. I'm gonna get all this stuff done as quickly as possible because I really don't wanna have to be doing any sanding or metal work after the boat's painted, because I don't wanna have to clean the boat and I don't wanna run the risk of scratching it. Let's get back to work. All right, so as you just saw, Billy took the boat. She gone. He's gonna be painting that thing tomorrow. I'm hyped, man. We've been talking about painting this thing Synergy Green since the very first episode. And today he just kind of flipped the script on me. He was like talking about all these other different colors. He's got some purples and some, I don't even know. I am just not even gonna try to figure it out. I'm gonna just be surprised when he sends me some pictures of it tomorrow. It's gonna be sick though. I'm gonna know what it is tomorrow. You guys are gonna know what it's gonna be in about a week when the next video drops. But I have got my work cut out for me. Look at this garage. It's a wreck. This is still the aftermath of Christmas and just working around the clock nonstop, trying to get this project wrapped up. It's a lot of stuff. This always happens to me when I get towards the end of a build. But luckily I have a break for a couple of days. He's not gonna bring the boat back to me until it's completely finished and dried. So he's gonna keep it for at least 2 to 3 days. So that means I'm gonna probably have the entire weekend to finish this thing up. I'm gonna use that time wisely and I'm gonna clean this garage. I am gonna get rid of all of this junk in here. I'm gonna organize all my stuff. So when the boat comes back, I'm gonna know exactly where everything is at, every single tool that I'm gonna need. And I'm gonna have the room and everything's gonna be clean because the boat's gonna be painted and I don't wanna mess this paint job up. I'm gonna make sure this thing stays fresh. Personally, I'm kind of excited to see what color he paints this thing, and I cannot wait to get this thing back because I'm gonna wrap it up quick. I'm putting all the electrical, the plumbing, and then I'm gonna start turfing the thing, and then we're gonna get the wrap on there. This boat is gonna be finished before you know it. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like, subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what's going on, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's get back to work.